deed. This is very important to know. And in the purport, the divine grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada says, Brahma Buddha is the state of being free from material contamination and situated in the transcendental service of the Lord. Mad Bhaktina Lapate Param, 18th chapter, 4th verse, says, one cannot remain in the quality of the mind, the absolute, until one's mind is fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord. Savai Mama Krishna Padara Vrindayo, to be always engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord, or to remain a Krishna constant, is to be factually liberated from the mode of passion and all material contamination. So without being free from lust, anger, and greed, it is virtually impossible to understand anything about God. And in modern society today, almost everybody is overwhelmed by lust, anger, and greed. It's not surprising that there's so much war and so many problems, family problems, company problem, this problem and that problem. Because people cannot control lust, anger, greed. 3 doors to hell. So here it says, a yogi whose mind is fixed on the, now it says a yogi, referring to someone who's spiritually inclined. It's not, it doesn't, when it's a yogi, it's not really someone that does exercise, considers yoga as an exercise. I'm talking about someone who's interested to be connected to God. That's the meaning of yoga. Yoga means how to connect with God, Krishna. So the yogi whose mind is fixed on me, meaning Krishna, barely attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. He is beyond the mode of passion. He realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme. And thus he is free from all restrictions, all reactions to best. The one that says qualitative identity with the Supreme means that Krishna, the Supreme Personality God, is eternal. And I am also eternal, and you are also eternal. We all have eternal souls. We're not equal with the Lord. We're not, there's no way that we're equal with the Lord, but we do have certain, let's say, resemblances, or certain things that we share with the Lord. We can share up to 78% of the Lord's qualities as a human being. And that can increase somewhat also, but it's basically it's about 78%. And they can go to about 84%. And different types of implementations, 94%. And the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, 100%. So, the whole point of spiritual life is to fix your mind on Krishna. Now, Balaji, the form of Krishna is younger age, like Bala, young, boy. Prabhupada explained, Balaji means young boy. So, how do we fix our mind on Krishna? Well, the recommended way to do that is age. It's like Sakya Yoga, Veda Yoga, Dwapara Yoga, Kali Yoga. The age that we're living in now is Dwapara Yoga. And it's about 400 some thousand years. We've only started about 5,000 years of Kali Yoga. So this is the worst time because hardly 25% of the population are interested. And that number is also decreasing now. As we know, in the newspapers, they say that Washington is the least spiritual. The people who live in Washington are the least spiritual people in the whole United States. What kind of badge of honor is that? It means it's nonsense. Anyway, we're going to change that by spreading Krishna consciousness. That's what our order to make people pious again. So, Brahma Bhuta is the state of being free from material contamination and being situated in the transcendental service of the Lord. So, every one of us are engaged in service, but not necessarily transcendental service. Every one of us serves a CEO, or serves a parent, or serves a wife or a husband. And everyone is engaged in some type of service. That is the, let's say, the way to understand people. Everyone is engaged in some service. And service is the dharma of every person. Dharma means their dutiful activity in life. But there are people that serve, let's say, nonsense, do nonsense, and other people that do good things in service. But service is their dharma. Everyone's serving somebody or something. So when we it says here, Brahma Buddha is a state of being free from material contamination and situated in the transcendental service of the Lord. The transcendental service, as opposed to mundane service, is when we serve Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. It's like our Pujari here, he's serving Balaji. And we can also serve by doing different things, like chanting the names of the Lord, like offering food to the Lord, like we heard this when we were reciting the glorification of the Lord. All these ways are seva, or services for the Lord. And if we do that, we become purified of gradually of lust, anger, and greed, as three words to hell. And we're able to function in this society without being contaminated. That's why it's important to chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna is the recommended way to attain Krishna consciousness in this age of Kali. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Very easy to say this mantra. It's not complicated. Anyone can learn it. And this is called the Maha Mantra, the great mantra for liberation. Anyone who says it and engages, even if you say it by accident, one time you are blessed. At least with, and in fact, if you do nothing else in this lifetime, but just say Hare Krishna once, at least you will take human birth. And that's important. Hare Krishna. Did we call Jonathan?
No.
Okay, so Mad Bhaktim Bhakti Puram, 18th chapter, 54th verse says, one cannot remain in the quality of Brahman. Brahman means the quality of spirituality, pure spirituality. Brahman, the absolute, until one's mind is fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord. Savadmana Krishna Padar Vrindayo, to be always engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord, or to remain in Krishna consciousness, is to be factually liberated from the mode of passion and all material contamination. So this service One time, I was with a friend of mine, very wealthy man, and he had a guest, besides myself, there's another person there. And that person sort of challenged my friend, the wealthy guy. He said, "Who are you exactly?" So, and, my friend, he wasn't really, he didn't really make any answer. So I said, "Well, he's a servant." And the person who made the challenge, he didn't agree with that because he himself is nonsense. We're all servants. We serve your family, serve the state, we serve your teachers in school. Everybody is a servant in one way or the other. That's our position. Service is our dharma. Dharma means what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to serve ultimately God. And if you don't serve anyone, then you basically are not acting properly. Even the animals serve. So if we don't serve anyone, we're less than an animal because that is our dharma, to serve ultimately the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. Otherwise, okay, you can serve your family, you can serve your state, you can serve your wife or your husband. Service is our, let's say, activity that we must perform in order to live in society or even to be alive. Serve someone or something. Now, we learn in Bhagavad Gita that if we serve Krishna, then all our problems will go away. Because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God, and he's the best person to serve. There was once a boy who was very poor, and he could hardly eat. He was eating like garbage and things like that. So one day there was this person who had a store, and he was selling like vegetables and fruits and things like that. And he saw this boy, eating out of a garbage can. And he had a garbage can in the back of the store outside. And he saw this boy eating out of it. So he went to see him and said, "Why are you doing this?" And the boy said, "Well, I'm very poor and with mother and father." He said, "Okay. And where do you sleep?" He said, "I don't have anywhere to sleep. I just sleep whenever I can, ground or somewhere." I said, "Okay. Can you do some work?" And the boy said, "Yeah, I can do work." "Okay, here's a broom. I want you to sweep here and there." So the boy started sweeping. And he was like serious about it, and he was good. So when the owner of the store saw that he was like, really not lazy. So when the boy finished sweeping, and it was like a couple of hours, then he said, "Well, if you're willing to work, you can sleep." Like, there he is. Hey, Ramdas, Hare Krishna, thank you, John.
Whoa,
Yeah.
he's jumping.
Oh, happy to be here.
Are you happy?
Yeah, he's happy. Of course. Haribo Ramdas, Krishna, Ramdas. Haribo. His eyes are like the eyes of a deer. It's beautiful. You have any treats for him, bro?
I think I give too many. He doesn't want me.
Okay. So, then the boy now had a place to stay. He was staying in the shed in the back of the store owner. And he had something to eat. And as time went on, the boy was very, very conscientious about his work. Now at least he could eat something regularly and then sleep, and there was a bathroom. So he was much better off than before. And the boy saw that the grocer would go and pay money to the government, paying taxes. So he said, wow, it would be nice if I could serve the government. It's got many steps higher than the way I am now. So he asked the grocery man, he said, will you go and see the governor? You think you can recommend me to be a servant in governor's or a governor's palace? So the man said, look, you're a good boy, you've been serving me for several years very nicely. I know the governor and I will ask him. So it turned out that the governor said yes. Now the boy was working for the governor, which meant he had a higher quality of food, better clothes, and was meeting people that were, more, let's say, established in society. So his whole situation improved. And then after some time, the boy saw that the governor was going and paying taxes to the king. He said, oh my God, I could serve the king, even better. So he asked the governor, I've been serving you these years, 3-4 years now. I know, I think you like what I do. Can you recommend me to the king? And the governor, yes, I will. You're an honest person, you work hard, I'll do that. So now he was living, the king decreed, so now he's living in the king's palace. And the clothes are much better, the food is much better, and his whole position was much, much better. But as time went on, oh boy, Mr. Farr, follow you. As time went on, he saw that the king, every once in a while, would go deep into the forest and come back. So the boy decided to follow the king one day. And he followed him, and he saw him with a group of devotees, or he was sadhus, deep in the forest. And then he saw that the king was bowing down to them and giving them presents. So now he realized, wow, these are the people I should be serving. The governor should be serving these people. So then he asked the governor if he could recommend him to serve the sadhus. And the governor said yes. So now he was in the association of the sadhus, and he learned so many things about how to serve Krishna. And ultimately, he became a sadhu himself. And all his problems were over, and he became eligible to go back to God, where he could serve Krishna directly. So here we see how there are different levels of service. Now, who's the best person to serve? Obviously, it's Balaji, Krishna. When you serve Krishna, then all the problems of our life go away. You develop very good qualities. What is that? Well, what are the bad qualities? Lust, anger, greed. These things are self-destructive and destructive to society, and people have these qualities. So to be free of these type of bad qualities, to take up Krishna consciousness, and especially chanting Hare Krishna and associating with genuine devotees, eventually we'll be able to control the very bad thoughts. Anger, by the way, is destructive. People are easily angry. Very unpleasant people. And they destroy sometimes their friendship with other people that can be from family, or in school, or at work. A person is quickly angered. It's a very bad quality to have. So, control anger, lust, and be able to act as gentlemen and women in society, not being greedy. We have luster and lust, anger, and greed. Greed the word. Okay, so in this verse it says that we always engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, or to remain in Krishna consciousness, is to be factually liberated from the mode of passion and all that there must be. This should be this is real education. Sadness about education, we never really teach things like this. So then it says in chapter 28, verse, thus the self-controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, becomes free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfectional happiness and transcendental loving service to the Lord. Now, when he says yoga and yogi, he's not, when Krishna says yoga and yogi, he's not referring to the gymnastic yoga or physical yoga. First of all, what does the word yoga mean? It means connecting with God, connecting with the Supreme Personality of God. So how do you connect with the Supreme Personality of God? Well, the easiest way is to chant Hare Krishna. That means you're chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So if you want to associate with Krishna, all you have to do is chant Hare Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. And therefore, if you want to control your mind and your senses, and control lust, anger, and greed, all these bad qualities, you take up Krishna consciousness seriously. And by associating with genuine devotees who follow the regular principles themselves strictly, no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication, you develop these saintly qualities, and you're able now to control your mind and your senses, and especially lust, anger, and greed. Now you become a real person. People who are lusty, angry, and greedy are not real persons. They're not real human beings. They're like demons. And their life is always full of difficulties, sometimes tragic. So we have to learn the principle of associating with genuine devotees, regularly hearing the Vedic scriptures spoken by genuine devotees, and engaging in the service of Krishna and genuine devotees. And then we make tangible spiritual. There are a lot of people that go to church every Sunday, go to the temple every week, and generally they're good people, not bad people. But they can still be engaged in activities that are sinful. Like, for example, there are Hindus that have jobs or have businesses, and they There might be, you might have a grocery store, supermarket, and they're selling meats, and they're selling liquor, and other, like cigarettes and so forth. They might buy a 7-Eleven. A lot of users of 7-Elevens too. But there they have this cigarettes and water, all these things, right? So they're engaged in simple activity. I had a friend of mine, he was very, very nice, but he had a gas station. Now, you don't make a lot of money selling gasoline, but the way people that have gas stations make more money is by having little supermarkets where people can buy other things, like gasoline. So they come to pay for the gasoline, and then they see the cigarettes there, and then they see the lottery tickets there, and they see this, that. It's a small grocery store, a big grocery store. So by buying these other things, the person that's selling gasoline makes money, more money, much more money than simply selling gasoline. So I had a friend, he was a Hindu, he had a gas station, and every time I go to see him, I would say to him, when are you going to give up selling cigarettes and lottery tickets, all this, they have beef jerkies, like rotten meat that's dry and packaged. And, people buy all these cars. He said, "Oh, my only wish is that I can go to Vrindavan." I said, "You can go to Vrindavan anytime." No, I can't yet. I'm still too contaminated. I said, "Well, why don't you stop doing all this stuff?" I said, "I can't stop. I have to pay this, pay that." Now, let's fast forward to today. He finally gave up and sold the store, and now he's retired. But for many, many years, he made his money by the sinful activities. And that has a toll on a person. Eventually, they get sick easily, troubles. So we have to stay away from bad people who have bad habits, and we have to associate with good people or devotees that have good habits. So tell me who your friends are. I can tell you who you are. So if we associate with people that are addicted to bad habits, we will eventually become bad. Now, just going to school, children in Hindu families, they're going to be associating with bad people, the teacher and the other kids in school. And the curriculum is also bad. So you have to think, do I want to expose my child to all these bad teachers and bad curriculum? If you do that, it's a type of child abuse. So, and then, in the beginning, when your child is young, you say, Jacob, and the child knows that, Jacob, like that. But when they get a little older, if you're going to school, and you say, Jacob, they say, I don't want to say that. Because they've been contaminated by going to these material schools. And they might even begin to eat meat and do other basic things. So, as parents, especially as Hindu parents, our responsibility is to protect our children, not put them in the atmosphere of other people who are committing sinful activities as if it's normal, as if it's fun, as if it's the right thing to do. And that's very dangerous. eventually, the child that has a cell phone, that watches a lot of television, that goes to school with all kinds of kids that coming from families in which they eat meat and so forth, they eventually get influenced by it. So if you want to protect your child, you should educate the child yourself. And some people go, well, I don't have the time to do that, I have to work, this thing, that thing. Well, then you shouldn't have had a child in the first place. The whole purpose of having a child is to train the child to become a pure devotee of the Lord. And why? Because when the parents die, it has to be someone who can perform the different ceremonies for helping the parents go back to God. Sometimes parents may be in a hard position, difficult position after they die, and to help them, at least the son and the daughter also can do different ceremonial things to help them. And usually it's offering food to Krishna, and then Krishna offers it back as prasada, and then offering that prasada to the loved one that has passed away. And that's very important. I'll give you an example. I had a friend, a cousin, and then after I left the United States, Europe, came back, came to San Francisco and Seattle. I didn't see my cousin 40, 45, almost 50 years. One day I got a call from my cousin. And he said, Harry, I'm so happy to speak to you. I need you. I said, wait a minute. We haven't seen each other or talked to each other in the last almost 50 years. What is it that you want? He said, I had a girlfriend, and then I rejected her, and she committed suicide. And now she's a ghost, and she wants me to meet her every day. It makes me feel crazy. I said, well, how do you know I can help you? He said, look, I've gone to many other people, different religious people, and done, ghost chasing, whatever. He said, none of that worked. But I know you can help. I said, how do you know I can help you? We haven't seen each other for almost 50 years. He said, no, I know who you are, and I'm sure you can help. I said, okay. His name is Johnny. Okay, Johnny. But you have to follow what I said. I said, okay, I'm ready to follow what you said. I said, well, first hear what I'm going to say, then tell me you're willing to. He said, okay, what is it that I have to do? First of all, you yourself have to give up eating meat, smoking, and basically living what's called a sattvic life. He said, you mean I can't eat any meat? I said, well, do you want to stop being haunted by this woman that died, or not? He said, no, I'll do anything you say. Okay. So, and then I said, now you have to also, you don't eat, you have to cook the food. Okay, so he was now married, and then you have to offer it to Krishna. I said, who's Krishna? I said, it's God. God. He said, but I don't believe in God. I said, look, I don't care if you said you don't believe in God. If you want to get free of this ghostly woman, you're going to have to at least theoretically believe that there's a God. He said, okay, I'll give it a try. And then what I do? Because I told him, then you have to cook vegetarian food, no meat, no onion, no garlic, no liquor. You like liquor. And he said, well, if I can't eat those things, I can have my liquor. I may as well commit suicide. So those are the things that give me happiness. I said, well, then you're gonna be ghostly haunted for the rest of your life. He said, okay, just tell me what I have to do and I'll try. So I told him you have to buy only fruits and vegetables and milk. And I said milk is very important. So you have to cook whatever you got, things. And then you have to make a little altar with the picture of Krishna. If you're worried I get that, I'll make sure you get that. And then you have to make an offering. Well, how do I do that? I said, I don't even go to church, and I don't even believe in God. I don't even go to any, I don't even listen to any preachers or anything. I said, look, please understand, this is serious. You want to get rid of this lady who's haunting you every day, because she died and committed suicide. You have to follow what I say. So he said, all right. So then, he started doing what I told him to do. And one day he called me up after about 3 weeks, and he said, I said, how's everything going? He said, well, it's going a little better than before. He's still there, but I'm enjoying cooking vegetarian food and eating it. I said, well, you just keep doing it. Call me back when she leaves. So another month or two, he did call me back. I said, well, how's everything going? He said, she died. She's not wanting me anymore. And I really want to thank you. I said, wait a minute. I'm glad to hear that. Are you going to go back to eating meat and all the other nonsense next year than before? I said, well, I think so. Why are you asking that? I said, well, that was the problem in the first place, the bad habits that you had. And then by rejecting this girl, she committed suicide. And then she started haunting you. So if I was you, I would continue doing those things that I taught you to do. And then eventually you can marry a nice girl and treat her nicely and have a peaceful life. Well, I'm thinking that. So here we see that there are ghosts. And people can be ghostly haunted, especially if they are doing things that are self-destructive, like taking drugs, because ghosts will haunt people whose desire to live is very compromised by their bad habits. They don't bathe regularly, they don't cut their fingernails regularly, they don't eat properly, they eat meat and all those things, liquor, all these bad habits, and they get ghostly haunted. Like, I'll give you an example. You look at Marlon, you look at Marilyn, she's a very beautiful girl, very famous, and she's making a lot of money. She committed suicide. Why does the person who's so famous, making so much money, commit suicide? Because she realized that everyone that she knew were not really good people, and they were exploiting her. And she developed very good habits, and eventually she got ghostly haunted, and then she committed suicide. Now, what does it mean to be ghostly haunted? Well, when you engage in unclean habits and you associate with lusty people, and you let people basically, use your body for sense gratification. Eventually, you realize that you never achieve any love. It's all sex. And you're just being used, even though she's a very beautiful girl, very famous, and she committed suicide. This happened to her. And therefore, to become Krishna conscious is the best, let's say, insurance policy for being peaceful and happy throughout life. You can't buy an insurance policy as good as becoming a genuine devotee of Radha and Krishna and in worshiping them every day. Free yourself from all bad association. As soon as you become spiritually informed, those friends or relatives of yours that are not actually devotees will probably break off the relationship. Now that's hard for some people, but actually it's good not to associate with anyone who has these bad habits. Otherwise, you can get influenced by it. Now, even if they are relatives, so what? If they have these bad habits. I remember years ago when I first became a devotee, I had one uncle that came to see me, and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm practicing Krishna consciousness." What is that? I said, "Well, we chant Hare Krishna." I don't even know what that is. What else do you do? He said, "Well, we don't eat meat, we don't engage in sex, we don't gamble, we don't take any properties." He said, "I'm going to tell you a story." I said, "Okay, what's your story?" He said, "One day there was a question between two people. And the question was, what is or who is a human being that actually is a failure, no better than a donkey?" And he looked at me. You know? You know me? He said, well, after these people discussed, they came to the conclusion that a person that doesn't eat meat, doesn't have illicit sex, doesn't gamble, and doesn't take intoxicants is a donkey. He was like so sure of himself. Well, I said, well, my dear uncle, I said, hey, I don't agree with you, but I don't want to argue with you. But I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing, really. But I respect you as my uncle. So that was the end of the discussion. 2 years later, he was dead. Because he had all these bad habits. And that's a long time ago. Back like 40 years. So, with those bad habits, you don't really live a good life. And it's possible that you die earlier because of bad habits. And we should never be intimidated by people who have bad habits, trying to accuse us, like my uncle, to get me to agree with him. He said, well, you are a I was an embarrassment to my family and to my religion and to my, like we say, my
Community.
the family, bigger family, the
Community.
community. And you have to really insult the person. Anyway, 2 years after our discussion, not that I wish that he died, but because he had these bad habits. So why should I, just because he's an uncle, and he can speak in a very, let's say, unpleasant way, why should I give in to him when I'm associated with Srila Prabhupada? My guru, who taught me all these good things. So in life, sometimes when someone becomes a devotee, the parents or relatives or friends really criticize the boy or girl that takes up Krishna consciousness seriously. Even Hindus, they don't really, some Hindus don't like when their kids become Krishna conscious. Why? Because they're addicted to bad habits, and they think that their child has been, let's say,
Denied.
huh?
They denied the entertainment.
Well, the child is coming under the influence of people that are going to exploit the child.
Hmm.
No longer like she or he is no longer the member of the family because now they're under the control of this evil group of people who want to exploit her. Anyway, it's not true. Krishna consciousness, we don't exploit people. We help people become Krishna conscious. That means no meat eating, no gambling, no sex, no intoxication, and chanting Hare Krishna, eating only Krishna, and regularly hearing lectures by genuine devotees, and going on Harivilas, Sankirtan, chanting holy words for the benefit of the people, and distributing Krishna, and regularly going to bed early, waking up early, bathing at least twice a day, all good things. And that doesn't mean you can't go to school and do all this. No, you can go to school and do all those good things and be a success in your life without being contaminated by all the nonsense that's in society. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop right there. Are there any questions anyone would like to ask?
Maharaj-ji,
Yes.
very nice lecture. I really very keenly and with enthusiasm. His divine grace, Bhakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj, was I heard his lectures and read a few of his books where he wrote chapter 18, text 54, as you said. Brahmbuta prasanatma sochati natyamsati samansarai So, of course, the Bhagavad Gita, he wrote the translation very nicely. My question is, how can we, in these times of Kali Yuga, how could we balance that with our lives? Am I clear?
Yeah. The only way you can balance is you associate regularly with change. If you're not in a position to associate with any devotees, you're going to be affected by the the bad culture that's being practiced around you. So, genuine devotees are people who follow the regulative principles. And Krishna says that one can understand me, Krishna, as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he or she can enter into the kingdom of God. So, if you're going to try and understand what is the goal of life, this is what you have to read. This is what you have to learn. So here Krishna is explaining to Arjuna. By the way, Bhagavad Gita was spoken first 920 million years ago. And the last time it was spoken by Krishna, Krishna spoke it at different times. The last time Krishna spoke it was to Arjuna 5,000. So this is the oldest book in the history of the world. I don't know, people, it's not just 5,000 years old. You have to go back 120 million years ago when it was first spoken by Krishna to the sun god, Vishnu. So this is not something new. This is the oldest book in the history of the world. And it's God himself, Krishna, answering Arjuna's questions. And Arjuna asked many different questions to Krishna, and he answered all of them, explaining who he is. So it's God explaining who he is and how we can relate to him. So that's why he says in this verse, the 18th chapter, 55th verse, one can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of God, only by devotional. And when one is in full consciousness of me, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom. So the more you avoid the association of hodgepodge nonsense people and associate with devotees, then you can adjust. Right? But if you only associate with devotees, let's say, once a month or once a year, and the rest of the time you're associating with hodgepodge people, even though they're Hindus, right? But most, not all, but most Hindus are interested in their 401k and what college their kids going to go to and what business the kids now are doing, all kinds of mundane things. Right? There's nothing really spiritual, all mundane things. Now, I'm not against that. It's nice that the Hindu kids are doing well in school or doing well, in their businesses or their careers. But that's not going to save them. So unless we get serious about the finality of things, every one of us is going to get old, going to get sick, it's going to die. And our money is not going to save us. And our, let's say, achievements in material life, we're going to lose all of them. So we have to think seriously about this, because we don't really become a real person unless we ask the question, why am I subject to birth, old age, and death? I don't want these things, but I'm subject to it. And how do I get into this situation? Is there any way that I can get out of this situation? That means that question is the beginning of spiritual life. Because then you have to find a way to free yourself from this vicious cycle of birth, death, old age. If you never ask the question, and you never try to find out how to get out of this terrible, let's say, cycle, you're not really a human being. Now here we have around us, and back there.
Yeah.
See, the difference between an animal and a human being is human beings can understand their relationship with God. Animals can't. But they eat, they sleep, they mate, and defend. But they have no way of understanding the relationship with God. So if there's a human being that only eats, sleeps, mates, and defends, but doesn't even try to understand the relationship with God, they are basically an animal. They're not a human being. They look like a human being, but they're not a human being. They're not acting like a human being. The human form is the only form in which you can understand your relationship with God. And if you misuse your body and intelligence just to eat, sleep, make, and defend, the next life you're going to go back into the animal human. So all these discussions about, what stock I should buy, and my kid is going to Harvard, and what vacation I'm going to take, and this and that, it's all a waste of time. I mean, you can listen to it a little bit out of respect for people, but it's not going to help you at the moment of death when you need help. The only thing that's going to help us at the moment of death is Krishna. And if we haven't made the time to be and energy to be Krishna conscious by chanting Hare Krishna, so forth, offering our food. Basically, you only have to do those two things. Before you eat and only vegetarian food, you should offer it first to Krishna, and then we'll offer it back to Krishna. That's the point. You should always chant the names of the Lord. If you do only those two things in your life, seriously, you'll be liberated from all. Everything else, you're a famous person, or you have a lot of money, or you're known for, you can say so many mantras or whatever. That's not necessarily going to free you from the cycle of death. It might help you if you know a lot of mantras, but it's not really going to free you. You have to actually develop love for God. Are you ready for Arti? We'll have Arti right now. You want to add some question or have some discussion? You can do that next week. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai, Hare Krishna.
देवता रक्षांधारयामि वेडकोंडवारा ओम राजा राजा शरणे भगवते शरणाय गुरुमे तदेन कामान गामाया कामेश्वरे शरणोदरादे वैराय दे शरणाया महाराजा नारायण तेने वासुदेव वाली मने तन्नार करोदया आले आले ने तोदे दिनाय तन्नार तीन करोदा
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Gita Gura Devo, Hari Bo, Oda Hari Bo, Nita Gora Hari Bo,
Nitai Gaura, Hari
Haribo,
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 Haribo, Nitai Gaura, Haribo.
Adi Krishna, Jam Vishnu Pada, His divine grace, Sri Bhakti Vedanta, Goswami Maharaj, Gopali,
Yeah.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava, Vindiki,
Yeah.
Namaz, Charity, Haridas Thakur,
Yeah.
Rams, Kahoshi, Chaitanya, God Rashi, Guru Bhakti,
Yeah.
Shri Radha Krishna Govardhana, Swami Kunda Radha, Kiri Govardhan Ki Jai,
Yeah.
Shri Vrindavan Dan Ki
Yeah.
Jai, Madhupur Dai Ki Jai,
Yeah.
Mayapur Dai Ki Jai,
Yeah.
Gora Premanande,
Hari
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 Bo,
Bo.
Hari Bo, all glories to the
Hare Krishna,
temple devotees, all
Hare
glories to
Hare
glories to Shri Guru, Shri Guru, glories to Srila Prabhupada, Patita Pavane Ki Jai,
Yeah.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Rama Ram, Hare Hare.
Ram.
Anyway, are there any other questions? Anyone may or any thing you would like to say?
Question. My question is about dampatya or compatibility. How do you know you found the right partner in life? Is my question. How do you know the person you're going to spend the rest of life with is the right person?
Well, the first thing you do is see what they eat. If they're eating dead bodies, there's a big problem there. You don't want to marry a meat eater. Then the second thing is to see if they're not easily angered. Because anger destroys relationships. And along with anger, you have to make sure or to see that they're not lusty. Because if they're lusty, they're always going to be overwhelmed by sex desire. And the next thing is to see that they're not greedy. They're satisfied with whatever God gives them. They're not pushing you, oh, you have to make one to make it. So you live a peaceful life, but you're satisfied with whatever God gives you easily. These are important things. There was one time a young boy, he was going to go on a long trip away from home. He had never been away from home. So his mother agreed, but she said, I'm going to make some bread for you. And this was a type of bread, long bread. And she said, if you're gonna go on this trip, you have to make friends. Make at least one friend with you. I said, okay, Mom. So she made the bread. And she said, when you go on a trip, you give the bread to your friend and you ask him to break it. She said, if your friend takes the bigger piece, he's not really your friend. Really, and gives you the smaller piece. But because, even, then it's okay. So now that's not the, let's say, most sophisticated way to know if someone is greedy or not greedy, but it's one way to know. So if the friend breaks the bread and takes the bigger piece, then it's more of a person who's interested in themselves more than sharing things with other people. So we have to know how to recognize a person. And the quicker you can recognize them for what their culture is, what their desires are, and so forth, then you can know whether you want to pursue a friendship with such a person or not. The worst thing in your life is to marry the wrong person or to associate with the wrong people. Those are two major bad decisions you can make in life. Is enough to destroy your life. So we can't. We have to be a good person in order to recognize a good person. So we have to first learn to be a good person by associating with genuine sadhus. There's the example of a young boy who lost his parents, and he was adopted by a group of sadhus because he was in bad position. They adopted, and by associating with the sadhus, he became a pure devotee. So, tell me who your friends are. I'll tell you who you are. Careful. Choose friends who are actually genuine devotees, who actually believe in God, who actually follow the rules of godly life, of Sanatana Dharma. No meeting, no gambling, no sex, no intoxication, always chant Hare Krishna, always hear Bhagavad Gita spoken by genuine devotees, only eat Mahaprasada or Prasada, and chant the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. So these are ways to know whether a person is good to associate with or not good. If they're always talking nonsense about, the latest cell phone, the latest this, the latest that, and vacations and sex and other things, using bad language sometimes, you want to avoid their association. It's not going to be good for you. It's just like a piece of black charcoal. If it doesn't burn your hand, it'll make your hand very black. So there's no way you can win with the charcoal. So the same way, there's no way you're gonna be benefited by associating with bad people. They're gonna affect you in one way or the other. So the less we associate with bad people. Now, bad people, like for example, if someone knocks on your door, right, and says, "Let me in," would you open the door? But when you open the television, watch it, cell phone, the computer or something, watch a movie or something, the dirtiest people in the world come into your life. People that you wouldn't let into your door. But now you're looking at the dirtiest people in the world. So you have to be very careful. We have 9 holes in the body. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, mouth, anus, like that. So what we let in those 9 holes are gonna just be who we are. So if we only let in pure things, we're gonna be a good person. If we let in bad things, we're gonna be a bad person. Or if we mix it, you're gonna be compromised. So you have to protect the 9 holes of the body. And if you do that, you'll have a much more safe and happy life. And if you don't do that, then you're going to probably die before you should die, and you're going to have bad experiences with people that are not good, and so forth. So you have to protect those 9 holes, especially what you hear and see. Those are 2 ways you learn by hearing, and you can also learn by seeing. Now, when you see a bad person doing bad things, and then you see a good person doing good things, you learn by both of them. You learn from the bad person what not to do, and you learn from the good person what to do. So the bad person is also a guru, in a sense. It's teaching you what not to do. So, but you don't want to associate with bad people. You can see their behavior, and now you know you're not going to associate with them, but now you know what not to do. So you have to know both, what to do and how to do it properly, and what not to do. Otherwise, you're going to get confused and think that by doing certain things that you should not do, it's not going to be benefit in your life. So it's like the charcoal. The charcoal is either going to burn you or make your hand black. You're not going to win with the charcoal. You're not going to get away from the charcoal without some kind of tragedy. So you have to choose your friends very, very wisely. If you choose to associate only with genuine devotees, then you can avoid a lot of unnecessary problems. Does that mean you're antisocial? No, not at all. It means that you have wisely chosen the people you want to associate with. But you can work with unholy people, forced to sometimes, but you don't associate with unholy people. So what does that mean? That means that when it's lunchtime, you don't sit down with them and watch them eat meat. You don't sit down and don't listen to, them talking about their vacation, and then they're talking about the stock that they're going to buy, and they're talking about all kinds of mundane things, sports and so forth, or politics. So many mundane subjects that people talk about, and it's basically a waste of time. So you have to choose your friends very carefully so that you don't become influenced by that. Those are views. Yes. Call it granny wisdom. Any other questions? Comments? Well, okay, then we're going to take rest. 8:30. You always should take rest optimally before 10 o'clock. And wake up around 3:30. You're going to be, and then start to chant Hare Krishna during the Brahma Muhurta. It's the best time, like 3 o'clock to around 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. It's the best time to chant Hare Krishna and read or participate in classes. You get classes every day, early in the morning. You ask who's here, give you a way to log in. We start at 6:30 every morning.
Morning 6:30, yes. Morning 6:30 and evening 7 o'clock every day. So if you go, if you're interested, we have a group, we can add you. Yeah, I'll take your number and make you. Prabhupada ki jai.
Now you might ask me a question. Why do you bring that
And that's
to the cow? No. Well, first of all, Krishna is a cow herder. He loves cows. We should all associate with cows. It's something special. And we should treat them very nicely. We actually have got over 60 cows. But Ramdas is a young cow, very friendly, sweet, and associating with him with good, it has me again. You know, this is good. They usually charge $300. Come to our farm and $100 is free. Or here you can. There people charge $300 a month. Hare Krishna, all the ways to
jai.
please say Hare Krishna, be happy. No more misery. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, please give me your number. Or maybe, yeah, give me your number and your name.
Sure. 973 979 099.
How did you want to know about this company? You've been there?
For the last month or so. Yeah, I live nearby here in Bellevue, Crossroads.
Okay, here you go. You're the mercy of the Lord. Oh, Maharaj. Ashwin. And what?
Nagarajan. And it's Garaj.
Oh, good.
So where do you work?
Microsoft.
Wait, Guru Prabhu.
Oh, really?
School.
I work on Outlook calendar. Or
I work in commerce.
commerce for Azure or just
Yes.
Yeah, everything's done for you. You don't want to read.
Do I keep this? Yeah, please. And then this also. Did you take from the piece from Maharaj?
Yes, yes, that is
So this goes into this. You open this one, it's just slides open like this. And all of them, those two go. Yeah, that's the best thing. It's like if you can somehow join early in the morning.
Mhm.
One, it creates a like routine.
Mhm.
Like, it's like a sandwich in the morning, and then in the evening you're hearing something that's pure fun, you're conscious. Then you are you start chanting some activity. This is what the word is about that. And I is known for all this. I'm from Andhra. So that's what we are doing. And this is even a purer form of like why we're doing it. Material plan. It's your duty. To realize our God and to always serve. So hearing about him is service. Chanting of God is glorious. Kirtan with you. Kirtan service. Taking prasadam is also service. All kinds of actions as they're linked to the Lord, they're all service. They're not linked to the Lord, they're about yourself. Then you love it. So after you develop your consciousness and then do all the things, only you purity. So
Thank you very much.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Not easy having.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. You do, you are?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your name? You're on this group. He was yeah. As long as, keep growing. What about you, Prabhu? You want me to? Yeah. Yeah. Prabhu.
She mommy.
Yes, yes, yes. But make it weekend activity. We can keep coming in person.
Yeah, I see the pictures all the time. When I like to hear the lesson, I see him sitting behind.
Oh, yeah.
Ramdas is going back home.
It's gonna go now drink milk.
So blessed.
Mhm.